Hey guys, welcome to the stream. This is Rod Arriagada coming to you live from the Hangar Billiards and Sports Lounge. We're here at 121 Scurfield Blvd, and we're here for the Sunday Open 8-Ball Tournament. We are now in the quarterfinal stages of the A side, and we have a showdown between MITCH DUPONT and Hanyu. The score is currently 3-1 for MITCH DUPONT. His Fargo rate is a 544 Fargo rate. Hanyu's is a 618. They're already in game number 5 now, and MITCH DUPONT is at the table. He'll come up short on the shot, turn the table over to Hanyu. Just give me a second. I'll join you guys right away. Came in a bit late today, not by choice. They got a lot of traffic going on, a lot of construction going on right now in key areas of the city. And those key areas have to do with the path to get here to the hangar, for me anyway. So it took a little bit longer than expected. All right, I'll come and join you guys now. Trying to get below the 12, he's going to run right into it and get above it instead. So now he's got to look at the option of taking the 10, but with this angle, it makes the 10 a bit tougher to make. Here you should be shooting to the side pocket. It's better than the corner pocket. He'll overcut it just slightly, though. Turn the table over to Hanyu. He's down by 2 right now. So this is a good opportunity for him, something that he can take advantage of. Or at least he's going to try to take advantage of. Oh, luckily for him, the 5-ball is still available. I guess the 6-ball is also a good option from there if he wants to take the 6. They both give him about a half a cue ball to work with, so it doesn't matter which one he takes. The 5-ball, though, will help him get the angle off the top rail to set up for the 6 next. He could just take the 2-ball out of the way right now and just try to get the finish instead, but he's going to shoot the 6-ball. And what I was looking at was making the 2, the 6, the 3, and then the 8. He's looking at making the 6, the 3, and then coming back for the 2 and setting up for the 8 from there. There's no wrong way of playing the pattern, really. It's just a matter of choice. And simplicity, I guess, right? For me, I was looking at simplicity. Easy 8 in the corner. He's down by 1. 3-2 is the score. And I believe he's breaking next in rack number 6, a chance to be able to tie things up. Terry, Barbara Richardson, welcome to the stream. Jim Horn, Mark Ramirez, Gary Dandaran, welcome to the stream. Randy Baggett, Paul Ramsey, how you guys doing? I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. 19 degrees in Winnipeg right now, and well, they say it's partly cloudy, but I haven't seen much sun. You can add a little bit of rain to this weather, and it would be the perfect weather for fishing and playing pool. But right now, it's perfect for pool. I don't know if you guys ever gone fishing in the rain, but fishing in the rain is the best. because the fish never know what's coming. People say that the rain, you know, like scares them away, but I don't know. I've had some of my best catches under the rain. My 8-year-old daughter or 9-year-old daughter now just sent me a thumbs up on a text message. We play this game, you know, like, so what she does is she'll, like, Facebook has different apps and stuff that they can do for kids on their messenger. So she's got a messenger, and I guess she's allowed to draw pictures and write things, and it's always guess what it is type format. So last night she sent me a picture, and it looked like, I don't know, like maybe a cute unicorn, but its eye was like closed and the other one was wide open. So I was like, well, is it a unicorn that got punched in the eye? And she didn't see it till this morning, I guess, or till now. And she just seen it, so she gave me the thumbs up. Like, yeah, not funny, Dad. I hate it when mom gives me the thumbs up. Like, it's okay to get a thumbs up from somebody that you know, a friend, you know, whatever. Like, okay, the conversation is over. But when your mom gives you the thumbs up and you know the conversation is over, you feel a little extra, you know? That was a good little bust out. Oh, but the 5 went right back into the spot. He can just roll this up here to set up for the 14 to the side pocket. The straighter he gets in it, the better for the setup on the 12. However, the 11 ball's up in the top right corner, which will allow him to get position on the 12. And if he wanted to, really, he can play this up table, play the 11, then the 12, then the 14. That would work also. Which is what I think he's going to end up trying to do here. He's got perfect angle to be able to set up for the 14 next. Looks like he's found his rhythm on the table. Bit of a tester here, shooting over the ball on the 5 ball. But he should be all right still. Watching the pace for the 8 ball. It's going to overrun just a bit, but he still has the shot to the corner. He's safe from scratching. All he's got to do is just make it. Leave it on here while I adjust this camera real quick. Oh, he's going to miss the 8 ball. Oh, no. That was not part of the plan. Not part of the plan at all. Feel like this is a little too high, so we're going to bring it down a bit. Something like that will do. There, now we're matching up. Okay, good. Now we're matching up okay. Just a quick drawback here for the 2 ball. You could play this through off 2 rails if you wanted to create some angle, but you kind of want to get straight on the 2 ball. I would just draw off the 1 and get back to the left like you just did. And here, you should take a look at the 7 ball just to make sure that you don't go forward any, but he should just stop the cue ball right where the 2 ball is. That will give him the shot on the 7. He does. He made it. He's got the shape on the 7. Looking good to get on the hill now. Just the 7 and 8 ball remaining. He'll make the 7. And he'll make the 8. He's on the hill. 4-2. On the hill and going for the kill next in rack number 7. Tough to play against guys like Hanyu when they're playing good, but whenever they make an opportunity for you, you try to capitalize as best as you can. And that's exactly what Mitch DuPont did. He capitalized on the opportunity, and now he's not necessarily putting pressure on Hanyu because of that, but he is putting pressure on Hanyu because he's on the hill now. Anya will have to win the next 4 games if he wants to win this match. And this is where a champion gets tested. You know, if you're going to win the tournament, these are the moments where you get tested on. And if you overcome these moments, you know, you gain so much confidence and likely you're going to end up going all the way and winning the tournament. But if you come up short here, then you go to the B side feeling slightly different mentally, and it becomes a struggle on the B side. However, most times when people go to the B side, it puts them in survival mode, so they play their best, usually. Rack number 7, Mitch DuPont to break, smashes the rack, the 3's going to the side. And looks like that's all that's going in the pocket for now, but he's got a lot of options here. Yeah, he's got a lot of options, solids or stripes. I'm looking at solids right now. I feel like they're the best option. But the 4 and the 1 are tied up next to 11, so that's the main area of concern, whether you're solids or stripes. But the only reason I would take solids here is because, you know, they have the shot on the 2 ball. You can set up for the 5. I believe that 6 goes to the side pocket past the 14. Yeah, it does. So you could even set up here for the 6 ball next if you want to go up table then and deal with the 1 and 4, come down table, and then you can deal with that 5 ball and 7 ball. I would actually take the 2. I would try to get that 7 out of the way because that's a problem. The 5 ball I might leave. I don't know. I mean, you don't have to. You can go down table and go up table to finish. That will set you up for the 8 ball if you get the perfect shape on the 1 and the 4. But the 7 ball doesn't really have a pocket right now, so that's a concern. The 5 ball only has 3 pockets available. 4, I guess, if you get perfect shape. But that's a challenging ball as well. The solids were actually a bit tougher, but were more available than the stripes. Now, when you look at the table after he made the first shot, you still feel like the solids are the better option, but position that he's got doesn't really help him a lot, so he's got to make up for it. He's going to try to make up for it here. The key for him is to get set up for that 4 ball, which I don't know if he can draw back to get behind the 11 for the 4, or if he's got to go forward to make this 4 ball in the top left corner by the 9. I think that's the way I would do it. It looks like he's got a pretty straight line, so I would just try to set up for the opposite corner with the 4. He's taking a look at that option now. You just got to create a little bit of angle to come down table, and that's going to be the challenge for you, really. It's not just the 4 ball, but getting down for the 7 and 5, having a shot on it. So he's made the right choice here for the 4. That's going to help him solve the puzzle. Now it's all about the magic touch here on this one, trying to get the perfect weight for the 5 or the 7. He'll make the 4. Comes down table. He'll have the option for the 5 or the 7. He's got a nice angle here on the 7 ball, but I don't know if it works for the 5. And he's got a decent angle on the 5, but the problem with it is if you have to 4-stroke it to get above this 13 ball for the 7, then you're actually not in good position for the 5. Because then you're forcing the shot and you're going to miss it. So he's got to make a decision here. I feel like his tangent line is good enough for him to be able to make this ball to the side, go in between the 5 and the 15, straight down, bottom rail, and back up for the 5. I feel like that will be the option, but, you know, I'm not at the table, so I'm not sure if the angle works or not. He's going to just run into the 5 ball instead. And, well, he'll have a shot on it anyway. That's all you can ask for, just to have a shot on it. He's going to call the bank corner. At least that's the first call he made. He's just he's considering whether or not he can cut this or if he should bank it. I like cutting this, but we'll see what he does. He called the bank, so he's likely going for the bank. Oh, and he's going to make a great bank. But he'll get challenged on the 8 ball because the cue ball will get behind the 12. Nice little bank here. Should have got better position on the 8 ball. No reward, man. Oh, and he ran into the 10 ball. That's the reason. Good hit on the 8 ball. I'm surprised he didn't go for a jump shot there. Or maybe he doesn't jump. I don't know. Some players don't jump. Not in their arsenal. They don't care to learn it. Little bump on the 13 helps him out. His back's against the wall right now, so he's got to make everything work for him. And this opportunity is one that's a rare one against an opponent that's on the hill. You'll have to take advantage of it. No real problems here other than decision making. The decisions you make at the table are going to decide whether or not you finish this table. He's kind of thinking, he's stuck between going down table or up table. And the reason why is because the 14 is available, but the top of the table doesn't seem to benefit him. So that's why he's looking at the top of the table now. Oh, and he'll miss the shot on the 12. Some body movement on that one. Shoulder popped up, body popped up. He'll come up short. And now Mitch DuPont will have a back cut on the 8 ball to the corner. A fairly simple shot here to win the match. Mr. Joe Cave, how you doing, man? Jonathan Kaskaman, welcome to the stream. I can't believe he missed that 8 ball. Wow. I mean, there must have been some sort of prayer going on over there, and it's Sunday, so you know it was answered. You make the 14, angle on the 15 to be able to set up for the 13 ball next. Now going bottom table and going back up table for the finish makes more sense than last time. He wasn't too sure on what he wanted to do, and I think that's the reason why he missed the shot. I'm really surprised that he didn't take that 13 ball out of the way here. That will be his finishing ball. Shouldn't really create any problems for him, but, you know, it's small chances, right? Sometimes the small chances turn into bad opportunities. He's in that 50-50 between the 9 and the 13. He'll take the 9. Looking for the perfect weight here for the 13 ball. And it must go. It must go past the 8 ball if he set it up that way. It's got a nice tangent line to be able to set up for the 8 ball if it goes to the pocket, which I'm sure it does. And it does. Perfect angle for the 8 ball. And that's a blessing in disguise for him. He should have been out at 5-2. Instead, it's 4-3. He's down by 1. Needs 3 more to win the match. A little bit of momentum here for him. Ryan Pittman says, I find those close shots the hardest. They really are hard, man. And honestly, like, to be able to address those shots requires a lot of precision with your eye. And then you have to, once you find the point, you almost have to ignore the point and just trust your instincts on the aiming. And that's the part that makes it hard. If you don't have a clean, true stroke, then you're likely going to miss on those shots like that. But if you can see the ball and you have a nice, reliable stroke, then you normally will make a shot like that. But yeah, the closer the ball, the harder it is, especially when it's like a tough cut. In his situation, it wasn't tough, but there was a lot of room for him to overcut that 8 ball, and he overcut it. Or sorry, undercut it. Not overcut it. Smashing break and rack number 8 from Han Yu, and it looks like no friends, but this table ain't friendly. Well, it is kind of. You got to figure out the 9 ball anyway, which you can open up right now with that 14 ball. But I like high ball here. High ball is calling my name. Everything goes. Just 9 ball you got to worry about. And once you break out this 9 ball, you'll be looking to get onto that 12 ball, which solves most of your problems at the table at that point. We'll see what he does, though. He might see it differently. How you doing, Linda? Steve? Darren? Rick Hutchin, welcome, guys. Boyd Kessler, how you doing? Frederick Camacho, welcome. Andre Nadeau, welcome to the stream. Tracy Drake, how you doing? Mark Patterson, welcome to the stream. This guy keeps on turning. So he did end up going for the 14. He did open up the 9. He didn't get the position on the 12, so this makes his table harder again because he's got to get the perfect shape for the 12 and the 9. That's really all the work that he's got to do. He just has to figure out how to get back for the 12 and the 9, get a good line on it, and then after that, he's got the table solved. And this is the thing, is if you don't get position for the shot that you were trying to get to, then you have to take a different ball. And every time you take a different ball, you're looking at different possibilities, and you're removing away other options for you to be able to set up. And in turn, what happens usually is that you end up getting into a mess, kind of like MITCH DUPONT just did just now. He didn't really want to take that 13, and he was trying to make something happen with that 13. Focus more on the shape, and we'll come up short on the shot. Hangar'S got a tough table here, though, so we'll see if he can solve this one. The 6 and the 2 is the problem for him. It looks like he's set up for the 6 ball right now. He'll have the 7 ball also, and the 3 ball. Shooting over the ball and the 4 ball for the 6 won't help him. Got to set up for the 4 ball now. He's going to hit that 5 ball, though, and that's going to push up towards the 9, creating a problem from there. He's actually slightly out of position now. He can still make the 4. He can still go up table, try to break into that 6 and 2 and look for a reset. He can try to maybe just play free safe onto the 5. Wedge the cue ball between the 5 and the 9. That would be another option. He feels like he's got the advantage there with that 12 and 13, so he's going to go for the bank. He'll make the bank, a nice bank. And you'll have a shot on the 6 ball now with a breakout angle into the 2. The 3 ball will be the escape shot, so he needs that 2 ball to open up here. And it will open up perfectly. Can take the 2 or can take the 3. It's up to him. 2 ball makes more sense though, and you draw off the right side cushion, come back across for the 3 ball, and then use the 3 ball for the finish. That's the way he's looking at it too. Too much pace. Way too much pace. So just rushing slightly here and the crucial shots, it looks like to me, for Hanyu, which is all part of trying to find your rhythm, you know? But I think that one he just shot too fast and he took it for granted. He's like, well, I'll just make the 3, come down naturally for the 8, but then he didn't consider the speed of the table. So now you have to make a tricky shot. Goes for the bank, will hit the horn and come up short, turns the table over to Mitch. Mitch will have a chance to close out the match now. And you gotta start feeling like he thinks maybe like he has to finish this table now. Doesn't want to give Hanyu any momentum. Dangerous when you think like that though, so I'm hoping that he doesn't think like that and he just tries to find good options at the table. It looks like everything goes for him though. He just has to make the first shot. Plays the 3 ball combo. He's got to think about it. Not too sure on what to do. It was pretty wired up. Like he was thinking about doing the 9 ball first, then he said, I'm going to go for the combo. It made a lot more sense. Del Okel, welcome to the stream. Bill Bryant, Wendell Guy Jr., how you doing? Tanya Hoffman, welcome to the stream. He's stuck between 2 shots. It's usually when a player is like this, they'll end up missing a shot because they're thinking about 2 of them. He was thinking about the safe leave, play the 2-way. Pretty safe, too. And you will call the kick shot to the bottom right corner. This is tough to measure out. To get a good clean hit on it, it shouldn't be hard, but to get the cut on it, that's where it becomes more difficult. And that's also where the opportunity of him running into the 9-ball becomes a reality. He'll hit that 8-ball clean, though. A big bounce, looking for some luck here on the leave. And he'll have a chance again. Opportunity for a combo once again is available. We'll make the combo, but he's going to scratch. Oh, no. And that's frustrating for sure. The wheels on the bus are falling off. 4-4. Tied up match. Hanyu 2 away from being able to win the match. 1 away from getting on the hill. MITCH DUPONT 1 away from winning. Had 2 racks where he had a chance. Ends up turning over the table to Hanyu, who's now tied up the match. And well, he's gotta get it going here, man. He's gonna be looking for a good break on this one. And watch him take his time on this one a bit longer than usual, because he's gonna want to close out now. Especially if he makes a ball off the break and everything's wide open. Which normally when you're in this position, it's usually not like that. But you never know. He might get the lucky break. Wendell says, hello. Jason Reed, how you doing? Norm Duchette. Alan Mercury, welcome. Mike Orvis, what's up, man? Tanya Hoppin says, hi, Rod. Thanks for the stream. Our Sunday is now complete. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I guess I should check up on the YouTubers. Usually they're like talking to me and I just miss their conversations all the time because like when I tune in and I set up the chat on YouTube, nobody talks. And then when people talk, I don't realize they talked. And I just went over to look right now. And yeah, sure enough. Arnie Solberg, how you doing? Says God. Oh, he says, good afternoon, folks. Not God. Well, it does say God, but he meant good. Good afternoon, folks. Decky says, hey, Rod, what's up, Decky? How you doing? Alf Johnson says, hi, all. Decky says, hey, Alf. Alf replies, says, hey. Decky says, Rod never really notices us over here on YouTube. I noticed it, right? I just noticed it. I noticed it. Like I don't know what it is. It's like a sixth sense, man. I knew that you were there, so I was like, Becky's there. I gotta go check on him. Alf Chaucer says, Rod, explain the Fargo rate, please. And Becky says, yes, we are. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you guys out because I don't want to miss any chats with you guys. Give me 1 second, Alf, and I'll explain it to you, all right? I'm just trying to set this up. Chat. You were gonna pop over and say hi. Well, so then that's how like people also let me know, like, hey, we're on YouTube, man. Yeah, so I'll pop up the chat now, but it's not gonna show anything until you guys make some comments. All right, Alf. So let's get into the Fargo rate. All right. So the best way I can explain Fargo rate is it accumulates data on each player based on the number of games that they play. There's some flaws to the system, okay, but it does a pretty good job at letting us know a rough idea of how good a player is. So the more games you build into the system, which when you look at Fargo rate, if you go to Fargo rate and you try to where it says search players, you look for a player, it'll show you a player's number, which is their Fargo rating. It'll also show you their robustness. The robustness is another word for games played. So the higher the robustness, the lower the chances are that your Fargo is going to get adjusted too much, right? So and there's people that have like 3,000 games in the system. Pros have like 20,000 games in the system plus, right? So usually if you're like 20,000 games in and you got a Fargo rate of say 700, Normally you're not going to move up or down from there. You're pretty much going to be at 700 for a while, unless you do some really impressive stuff, or if you go on a bad losing streak for a while. And I'm not saying just like one tournament. I'm saying for a few tournaments, you probably have to have a pretty bad year for your Fargo rate to drop down if you had like 20,000 games in. But normally when people start off, they start off with 0. They start off with a 525 handicap, which is roughly about, I guess we'll say like a 4 APA, between a 4 and a 5 APA. If you were to do BCA, they would be more like intermediate standard, basically. And that will change, right? But normally everybody starts off with a 525, and then your rating goes up and down depending on how you do in each tournament and against everybody you play against. When you play against somebody that's a higher Fargo rate than you established, and you end up beating them, then your Fargo rate will go up. If you play against people that you normally beat and you beat them, your Fargo rate doesn't really change because the Fargo rate says, well, that's what you're supposed to do. So the Fargo rate only gets affected in situations where it predicts that you should win or lose on a certain score, and that score becomes different. But over time, eventually, Fargo rate will stabilize, and your numbers will never change as much as when you first start off. But it just gives us a good universal system to see how the handicap system works around. It gives us a good understanding for how good a player is, right? So if you see somebody come in into a tournament, they're a 700 Fargo, you know they're pretty good. Like their shape is good. They break and run. They probably break and run out of 10 racks, like 5 or 6 of them. When you're looking at an 800 player, now that player likely is going to run more than not. And if he's not running out, he's hooking you, so he's winning most of the times anyway. 800 player, you know, you're not going to really get your Fargo rate moving too much, but you'll have an idea, you know, how good they are just by their numbers. So 500 a starter, 6, 7, 8 are all good numbers. That means you're a really good player. 500 and below, it alternates. Usually when they have starter ratings, it doesn't really tell you whether they're accurate or not. 200 games usually tells you, gives you a good idea of roughly how good they are. So you'll see like some guys will have like a 700 Fargo rate, but only 40 games played. So that's something that could easily become a 500 when you put enough games if you don't win, right? So just an idea, just so you have an idea how it works. But where it fails, where the system fails, is that it doesn't take information. That worked out nice. It doesn't take information on the sides of the table that the players play on. So let's say that you're a bar box player, and this is I'm just explaining where I feel the system is flawed. Let's say you're a bar box player that plays 3.5 by 7 all the time, and then you decide to travel to the States to go play in a tournament, and you find the tournament is played on 4.5 by 9. So you go sign up for it, you go play. They look at you and they say, well, this guy's a 700 Fargo on a bar box. So, you know, or not on a bar box. They just say he's 700 Fargo. So he's got a spot so-and-so, this many games and whatever. Then you never play 9 foot. So for you, when you're on the table on 9 foot, you're totally lost, totally confused. You have no idea how to adjust for the shots, the speed, the angles, none of it. So you're struggling at the table. You lose really bad and you're spotting the other guy a couple of games. And you're thinking to yourself, why am I spotting this guy when he's so much better than me? And why does he have such a low Fargo rate? And why can't I beat him when mine's so high? But that's because you never really play on the 9 foot, right? So your Fargo rate isn't accurate on 9 foot. You might be at 700 on a bar box, but on a 9 foot, you're really only at 400, right? And so that's where the system is flawed. Is it like it takes general information and it just adds the games and it figures out that this is your Fargo rate, but it doesn't do it by size of the table. So that's the flaw. And for them to correct it wouldn't really be a big issue, but I feel like the only reason they don't correct it is because they feel like, you know, they invested enough money on the software the first time around. And obviously they didn't build the software. They got somewhere to build it for them. So for them to go to this person and get a rebuild, it will cost them just as much. I don't think they want to invest in that. And to them, it feels like the Fargo rate system is good enough that you don't have to. But the players that travel and play, they know, like, it makes a difference. The size of the table makes a huge difference. Long story short, that's the Fargo rate. But it just gives you a handicap, a fair handicap system. So the way it works, too, is it's a little bit better than league because league systems, they usually, the way they kind of figure out your handicap, it's all based on teams, right? So If your team does really good, you might get bumped up, but maybe you're not the best player on the team, but you still get bumped up. You're at the higher level, and that's just your life for the next few years. Where Fargo rate is individually tracked. So now if I was to go into a tournament, or let's say I was going to run a big tournament with a lot of money added, I would never go by the league ratings for the handicapping. I would never do that because they're just not accurate. It's all based on team, right? So I would just use the active or the league in your town, their handicap system. I would use it only on teams, but I would never use it for singles play. I would only go by the Fargo rate, especially if I'm adding money, right? If there's, $500 entry, $5,000 added, something like that, you're going to want to make sure that you get pretty fair on the handicap system. Never go by the league one, always go by the Fargo rate. And you can see more and more people around the world are starting to use Fargo rate. It's become more of a common thing. And I think that's a good thing in the long run. Especially because when you got guys from out of town, he's on the hill. He's on the hill. And I said a couple of racks ago, like, if you didn't finish that rack, you may not be able to win this match. And, well, right now, Hanyu is breaking for the match. They're both on the hill. We're going into the last rack now. 10 racks, to be exact. 9 racks didn't do anything for us, just brought us down to the last one. It will be the 10th rack that matters the most. Matty boy, what's up, man? Says, good afternoon, Rod. How you doing this fine Sunday? I'm doing good, man. I'm going to see if I can do something here. Let me do that there. Ah, there you go, Matt. I'm going to make you the mod right now. I just figured out how to do it, man. Do I make you a standard or a managing moderator? Standard says can review and remove chat messages and hide or put users in timeout. A managing moderator can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live and also has capabilities of standard moderators. I don't know if the managing one will do anything for you, Matty boy, but I'm going to trust you, man. We're going to go with the managing moderator. So you're mod on my YouTube. Decky says, hey, Matty. Alf Johnson says, it shouldn't be any points in my opinion. Just like the old days. Play the game, not the stupid system. I think the point system helped kill the popularity of this game. And so you're pretty right on that. I feel pretty strong about that too. I feel like the handicap system destroyed pool. But it really wasn't the handicap system that destroyed pool. What really destroyed pool was the VLT machines or the gambling machines. Because prior to that, everybody gambled on pool, right? So there was always money involved in pool, and that was like the popular thing. If you walked into a pool hall and you weren't a pool player, but you were a gambler, and you seen guys gambling, you would just get on that gamble, man. You say, okay, well, I'll bet $50 on this guy to win, and you don't even know who the guy was, but it's a racehorse. Who cares? You just bet on it, and that's how it used to be. So pool used to be really popular because the gambling kind of went hand in hand. Which now it's kind of weird, right? It's a game that was created through gambling, but gambling is frowned upon in pool. I don't know. I think that the gambling frowned upon pool comes with the history of pool, though. A lot of people that kind of rigged events. Nice shot. Very nice, Bank. People that rig shots, for the money and through matches for big payouts, kind of stuff like that. There's a lot of scandals, right? Ruffians too, right? So they always look at like people that hustle on pool are like gangsters or badasses, and it really wasn't like that. But that's the way it was translated by the society at the time. Needed the perfect touch on that 12 ball, or on the 5 ball to get on the 12 ball, and he just bumped over. I have to take a different shot now. And now he's got to make up ground here on this shot. The reason why is because he's got the 11, he's got the 14, but he doesn't have the 12. Now, the 11 ball gets him around the table to get back for the 12, but it's got to be perfect. And taking the 10, the 14 is an option, but it wouldn't really help you. So you got to leave that 14 ball there, meaning that he's looking for the perfect shape on the 12 with an angle to get back up for the perfect finish on the 14. A lot of work at this table right now with only 3 shots remaining plus the 8 ball. He'll miss the shot on the 11 ball, though, and tie up the 7, so that's going to maybe get him another opportunity. Mitch DuPont won't get up to the table and try to close out the match now. He's got a lot of work to do, though. And Alf says, thanks for the explanation, Rod. You're very welcome. Hustler210, how you doing? Says, hey, hope all is well on your end, brother. Rod, where are you all playing at? We're at the Hangar Billiards and Sports Lounge here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, man. In the middle of Canada. Coldest province in Canada. I don't know if it is, but they say it is because we're in the prairies, so it's all open fields, and the winds from the north just come through, and I don't know. It's bad, man. It's bad. That's why we usually don't play a lot of pool in the summer, man, because everybody's like, hey, wait a minute. We only get 3 months of this great weather. Let's just go out and enjoy it. Oh, he almost scratched, but he didn't, so that worked out okay. 7 balls tied up, so he's going to get another chance no matter what. Even if Hanyu had a ball in hand on the 14 ball, he shouldn't be able to break out that 11 ball. So that's his big problem. He's going to have to try to deal with it at some point. Matty Boy says, awesome. I was glad to see some beginner intermediate players winning in the finals on Thursday, and thanks, Rod. Do what I can do to help with the streams, chats when I'm tuned in. Thanks, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, it was great to have. We had new winners this Thursday, right? So I used the medium Fargo rate fair match system for Thursdays for 10 ball, and what it does is it allows everyone that plays in the tournament to have a chance to win. Every one of them, whether they capitalize on those opportunities or not, that's what makes a difference on whether or not they end up winning the tournament that week. But last week we had some strong players in the building. We had some players that were in the 400s and the starter rate of 525. These guys that came in that ended up winning the tournament. The first guy that came in that won the tournament, I'll explain the story because I shared a post on Facebook for everybody to see and appreciate the moment. And I haven't been taking pictures of the winners on Thursdays nor posting them because to me usually it's like, it's just a Thursday tournament. But what made this last Thursday special and why I took the picture and posted it on Facebook, it was because it was the first time both these guys accomplished their goals. And I knew that they felt so happy inside from their accomplishments that I wanted the rest of the pool world to see that, to enjoy it, to be remembered or reminded of why we love this game so much. So the first guy that came in that eventually won the tournament, I was like, hey, man, you're back again. And he says, yes. He's like, I'm going to keep coming back every Thursday until I win the tournament. That was his words. I'm going to come back every week until I win the tournament. And then his buddy comes in who ended up finishing second that day. He comes in and he says, I said, hey, what's up, man? You're back? He's like, yeah, you know, I didn't feel good last week. He's like, I felt like I played good, but I didn't play good enough. He's like, and so I'm coming back with hopes that I can make it to the championship match or to the final. And that's all that he was looking for. He just wanted to get to the dance. His friend Gurdesh Singh, he was looking to win the tournament for the first time. And Taman Singh was just trying to get in the finals. Well, as it happened, you know, we had a couple of early exits, and the way it worked out in the map for them is that it gave them a chance to be able to get there. And Gurdesh got to the final. He won the A side. Taman Singh ended up going through the B side. And every time he won a match, he'd say to me, like, how many matches away am I from getting into the finals? You didn't want to even get in the money, man. You just wanted to get in the finals, right? And I was like, dude, you need 3 more wins. Dude, you need 2 more wins. And eventually he comes up and he's like, okay, how many more wins do I need? I said, you're in the final now, right? And so they play a match, and eventually Gurdesh wins with a score of 4-1. But Gurdesh felt so proud and good with his game, and you could see it in their eyes. Same thing with Taman when they won. You could see it in their eyes, man. So I wanted to share that moment because to me, the connection between a pool player, the game, and the ever-evolving passion that we all feel for the game as we develop our skills and become more competitive, it's a beautiful thing to witness, man. And most tournament directors probably don't even look at that stuff, right? They just say, oh, good for you, you won. Get out of here. I want to go home. But for me, no, man. I'm looking at everything. I watch the players grow. I watch them compete. To me, I just witness every beautiful moment in pool when I'm around it. And that was one of the most beautiful moments that I was able to witness, the time when a player comes through and they achieve their goal. They only had one goal, get to the final, win the tournament, and they both got their wish. Beautiful thing to witness. You know that's going to make them better players. You know that's going to make them go out there and practice harder and become better at the table. They're going to want to win bigger events against better players all the time. It's just the beginning of their beautiful career, man. And that's why I shared it. And that's why I'm sharing it with you guys, because it was a special moment. I got to go back and check. I'm losing track of the combos. Decky says, yes, we got a mod in here. Won't be alone anymore. Yeah, that's right. Decky, I might make you a mod too, man. I don't know. You're always in there. You can always help me, right? So I don't know if you're up for it. I might make you a mod as well. Alf Johnson says 6:15 p.m. 24 here. Feels like 32. That's a good thing though, right? Where are you from, Alf? I don't remember where you're from. Oh, Newfoundland. Okay, Newfoundland. Yeah, I guess that's good. I mean, you guys don't really get those nasty winters, do you? I've never been to the east of Canada. I've always wanted to go that way. I figured, like maybe they have a really great pool scene out there, and if they don't, maybe I could have helped create a better pool scene out there, but I've never been that way yet. It is my goal one day to go out there and run a tournament that way. Jordan McNeil Bob says, wow, what a shot. So 210 says, hey, Rod, I have a question. I'm more of an old school player. My boy and his friends all have Predator low deflection cues. I have a Joss N7 and it plays well for me. Back in the day, there was low deflection cues. There wasn't, or there was? Because I remember back in the day there wasn't. I think low deflection kind of became a thing in the mid-90s, I want to say. It was like right at the beginning of the 90s or mid-90s, roughly, when no, it was about the mid-90s when the low deflection came out. Or maybe it was late 90s that it came out. I can't remember quite. It's been a few years. You know what? Like, everybody's into the low deflection or getting carbon fiber for no deflection. It's just trendy. I feel like that's what it is. I think if you have something that works for you and you know it well, whatever you got works. I know players that play with Q with a maple shaft, and those guys are some of the best players out there. I know guys that will come into the tournament without a Q, grab a bar Q off the wall, and win the tournament. I've met a couple here in Manitoba so far. So I think the Q, like, it doesn't really make a difference. It's more of a preference thing. In the end, what makes a difference, the true reality, and I'm sorry if this is, hurting your feelings, but the true reality is that the Q never makes the player. It's the player that makes the Q. And what that means is the player has to go out there with whatever weapon they have and work with it until they become one with that weapon, right? And that's the case for any Q. So if you get something with high deflection, like a maple shaft, you're going to go out there and play with a maple shaft, and you're going to learn how to play and adjust, and eventually you're going to be one of the best maple shaft players out there. And somebody else that plays with a carbon fiber or low deflection is going to grab your cue, and they're going to miss every shot, and they're going to say, I can't believe you play with this crap, right? But meanwhile, you're winning tournaments with it. And the reason why is just because the time that you put it on the table to understand your weapon of choice, right? And that's the case for carbon fiber, low deflection, maple, snooker, 9-foot, 8-foot, whatever it is. It's just a matter of going out there and working on it, adjusting on it until you eventually understand how it works. Now, the problem is that if you experience maple shaft, for example, at the beginning of your career, and you play with a maple shaft, say, for 3 years with coaching, right? So you're disciplined, you're learning the right way, but you're playing with a maple shaft. And then eventually when you become good, you want to switch over to something better, you'll have to go through the training process all over again. And maybe not as thorough, meaning you have to go through every single stage, but you will have to go through things like cuts, massages, banks, all that kind of stuff to reprogram your body and your eyes and your mind to be able to work consistently with the new equipment. And that takes time, right? It takes hours upon hours, days upon weeks until eventually you get it. Some people go out and buy a carbon fiber shaft and they think, okay, I'm good enough. And they never go out there and practice. And then they go out there and like, oh, I never mess with this shot except when I make a cut, right? And then they're like, it was just me. But no, it really wasn't. It was just the lack of you going out there and learning how to work those cut shots with that carbon fiber. And the more you work it, the more you understand how your deflection works. So that's what you're looking for when you're training with a weapon brand new. is you're trying to look for how the deflection works from impact to the point where it's supposed to contact. And then you'll see how to adjust, right? So if you got no deflection, then you're likely going to want to aim more to the right or to the left on your cut just because you have less deflection. If you have more deflection or low deflection shaft, then you're going to want to adjust more to the left or right because you're gonna deflect the cue ball in or out of the path, right? So it's all about deflection, really. That's what it comes down to. Low deflection, yeah, I seen that. Jordan McNeil says this DuPont fella is making the right shots. Yeah, and you know what? He was just feeling a little nervous. That's all. But especially because he's playing against a good opponent, so he seems to have settled down here now. It's a grind out rack. It's the last one, right? So he's making some good choices, trying not to turn the table over too much. Once again, playing a smart shot here. Except for he's going to scratch the cue ball. Oh, man. As long as he doesn't scratch the cue ball, he's good, man. But a scratch in the cue ball, and that's going to end that match for him. Just the 14 and the 8 remaining. Just bad luck. He made the right choice, man. It just ended up going in the wrong spot. Thank you, says LOL. Cheers. Oh, no, said Jordan. I have an original No Cat 314. Oh, like this is way back in the day. Wow. You got one of those, man? Those are like collector's items now. They never used to be collector's items, but now they are. Same thing with the original, not the original, but the second 314. That's a collector's item too. Harder to find too. Oh, my microphone is acting up on me. Let's see. Decky says a low deflection cue. Wow, I just use a Ronnie snooker cue. Alf says I have a Viking cue. Oh, I love Viking cues, man. Viking cues were like the bomb back in the day. You know, if you didn't have a Viking cue, you didn't have a cue. You just had a piece of wood. Now I feel like Predator is that. Like people just act like Predator's the world, right? And I represent Predator, but I'm telling you, man, back in the day, Viking was the world. Falcon cues were amazing. Duffering cues were top notch. You know, there was a lot of great cues back in the day. They just eventually ended up losing popularity, which eventually turned them into lower quality cues. Now it's sad. Like you can still find a really expensive Viking, but most of the good looking Vikings are cheap now, right? Because they just try to get them out there, try to get people playing with them. It's all become about the shaft more than the butt end, really. Jordan says totally preference. Absolutely. I agree, man. Decky says exactly. Jordan says preach. Oh, I preach all the time, man. Trust me, especially on Sundays. Alf Charleston says tip and chalk is the key with me. And so that's another thing. I'm waiting for another match to come up, but that's another thing too, man, is, you know, the tip matters, right? So if you play with like something like regular pigskin leather, something like Elk Master or La Pro, you're limiting what you can do with it. When you start going into like tiger tips or anything that's layered, now you start understanding how the tips kind of help. Then you got to figure out the firmness, right? So it's either going to be soft, medium, or hard. And I know there's like super soft and super medium and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, like, I think that's all gimmicks. I think it's just soft, medium, and hard, basically one of the three choices. With hard, you're going to get a lot of deflection on it, so you got to be more accurate. Not so much spin. With medium, you're allowed to play spin and play off the rails pretty decent. With soft, you can play lots of spin. The cue ball reacts lots, but you wear down the tip faster. So that's really what the choices are when it comes to a tip and pool. Like it says, I used to have a Riley carbon pool cue. It was great, but on a darker lit table, I would suffer. Yeah, and so that's something else, right? You're very welcome. Hustler says, thank you for your reply. Oh, unlucky, says Becky. Jordan says, old, I don't play with it. Talk about bad sportsmanship, says Hustler. He was just frustrated, that's all. Huh? I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta let them know so they can update it. I'm gonna go there right away to find out. Of them? Of Mike and Kevin? Oh, okay. I'll find out right away. All right, Maddie, you're in, man. I gotta go check up on things. Maddie says, I would say it doesn't matter what type of cue you own, play with, as long as you can feel confident letting your stroke out and knowing how it react when hit, you're good. Exactly. So that just comes down to practice, man. How much time you put on the table to learn your equipment, how it works, right? And a lot of people don't want to do it. A lot of people just want to go to the table and just play some racks. Worst thing you could do for yourself. Get out there and work on specifics, especially if you're trying to learn new equipment. Get out there and work on specifics so you understand how your product works. Jordan says Falcon was making Predator in the beginning, I think. Correct. That's what it was. They eventually ended up going off on their own. They actually went off to I think it was Jacoby or Pershauer I think it was Pershauer they used to make their cues for a while too. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm just trying to walk away here. We can't get those cues over here. Yeah, not anymore, man. I mean, you can still find them online, but you're looking at collector prices now. I have a Peridon snooker cue. Ooh, you're lucky, man. I love snooker, man. When you say Peridon, I'm like, ooh. I love it, says Jordan. I love it too, man, for sure. Anything to do with snooker, I love it. I'll come back in a bit waiting on the poker. No women playing? No. We do have them sometimes, but they're not playing right now. I'll be right back. I'm going to go and get us our next match, right? I'm just getting caught up on talking with you guys, and I'm going too far. I'll be right back. I'll give you guys a look at the scene, I guess, so you can see it in the background. It's really quiet today, only 11 players. All right, I'm going to go find out about our next match. All right. So it looks like I'm just waiting for a match. I know it's been quiet. Sorry, guys. I'm waiting for a match to end. They're on the hill. It's hill right now. And looks like that match might be over now. It'll be over now. So we'll have Mike Vautour against Derek Gledhill. But it looks like Mike's going for a break. I don't know. I don't know what to say. These guys are walking away from me. I gotta go update the challenge bracket. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Gene Peacock says, "Hi, Rod. Going to watch on YouTube." Well, I'm waiting for Mike. I don't. What do you guys want me to do? You obviously want me just to wait. Mike went outside to go smoke. He's gonna be about probably 10 minutes. I feel like I should just stop the stream and come back. I don't have any footage for you guys to watch. We'll try to buy sometime. Oh, okay. So let's do some advertising. That's what I'll do. Those of you that are in here in Manitoba, we have Lake St. Martin First Nation is hosting two things. So they have mud bog racing, mud truck racing, and they'll also have concerts. They're going to have Doc Walker, the Roadhammers, and Seaweed, which is a local band from, I believe they're from Winnipeg. But that's going to be on Saturday, July 22nd, which is next weekend. It's free admission. You just got to bring your own chair for that one. And if you're looking to compete in the Mud Bog Poker Derby, that's on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday will be all trucks. Saturday will be side-by-side, ATV, and all the different classes for them. I believe it's $100 entry per class, and there's some really good money there, man. You can see like $5,000 for first, $5,000 for first, $4,000 for first, some really, really good money there. But if you guys want to check it out and you're in Manitoba and you like to compete in this kind of event, you can get a hold of Brad Beardy. The number is attached there. I'm going to try to read it out to you guys real quick. 204-290-4101 or Jules Beardy at 204-799-6399. That's how you get registered if you guys are looking to register for this event. I will be out there covering their event as well, so if you guys do come out, then make sure you say hi. I'll be out there. Looks like it's going to be a fun time, man. I went and checked out some videos yesterday of what they do, and pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. We're still waiting for Mike to come back. What else can I show you guys while I'm waiting? Oh, I know. This is cool. It's short. It's a short video, super short video, but I've showed you guys the pool playing robot, right? And everybody kind of enjoyed the pool playing robot. They have softwares, AI software that recognizes the patterns that are at the table. and recognizes the angles that it's got to work with, all that stuff. Well, they've gone a bit further now, and now we have a robot that racks the pool table as well. And it's real quick, so pay attention to it. It's just a small video. But check out this robot. The robot grabs the balls and just racks them automatically. It's so fast. See it here. Look at this. Just picks up the ball from underneath. All the balls land in there into the chamber of the robot, and then it'll just rack the ball. And it's a perfect tight rack every time. Crazy, right? Some of the weird stuff that they're inventing out there for pool players, man. I was really fascinated by that one. But it's kind of fast. I wonder if I can slow it down a little bit. I'm going to try to see if I can slow motion it a little bit. All right, so here it is, a little slower so you guys can kind of see it better. Really cool, man. I mean, that racker probably costs like $5,000. But if you want a good tight rack every time, well, it might be worth the money. Linda says, really like that Jam Up Apparel shirt you're wearing, Rod. Think I might have seen it somewhere before. That's right. It's our team shirt. I'm hoping that we're still playing again this year. I was thinking about not playing SV1 this year, but I think I still might play SV1. So if you guys are still playing together, I would like to play with you guys again. That was fun. I had a good time playing with you guys. It's one of those teams that I had no idea how good we were going to do, and ended up being a great team, great chemistry. It was just really good competitive team. All right, so I got some conversations up here on YouTube too. I'm still waiting for Mike, man. I'm just being lazy. I don't want to stop and restart the stream, but the east side is going pretty fast. They're on the east side semifinal now. Only 11 players though, so it should be like that. Very empty there. Oh yeah, no, it's super quiet today, man. But you know, like you'll see around like 7 o'clock, you'll see like people start coming in. It gets pretty busy in here at some point. And usually right now, like it's packed with pool players, but it's only 11 players coming out today, so that's the reason why it's kind of quiet in the background. Decky says, so Rod, I should have noticed before, but why is there a coin under the cushion? So that's a marking system. The way, and I don't know if that's something that's popular around the world, but here in Canada, most of us kind of do it. And what we do is that we use 2 coin system. The middle diamond on the bottom rail is usually the starting point, so both coins will go there. That's 0. And then each diamond to the left or to the right counts as 1 point for each player. So they both move up. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. If you were to go to the diamond before the middle pocket, and we're looking from the bottom of the screen going up, that would be a raise to 4. If you go to the diamond above or just below, if you go to the diamond just below the top right corner, now that would be a raise to 7. And if you go from the middle dot on the bottom where you start the coins to the top of the table, the middle diamond on the top rail, that would be a raise to 9. So whoever gets the coin up to the top rail will be the first one to win in a race to 9. But that's what they use it for. And it's something that's not really practiced in many places, but I feel like it's something that's common for pool players, at least here in Canada, seems like it. These guys are just shooting around, warming up while we're waiting for Mike. Mike's back now. Seven six is the race between them. I'll set up the scoreboard right now because Mike's coming to play. That's Mike right there at the table. So I guess I waited long enough. I usually he's like 20 minutes every time he goes out for a smoke, man. But he was pretty fast this time. I can appreciate that. We'll put Mike on the left. Mike tour. He's going to 7. I might. I usually carry dimes because I teach all the time and I mark my slot. All right. And Derek Gladhill is going to 6. And this will be a semifinal. I'll fix their Fargo rates in a second here, too. Love to you. $604. So they're pretty even up. A $606 and a $604. So, and I'm going like I use Mike's like his actual last name Fargo rate. He's got 2 of them, which I'm getting addressed this week to make it a 1-to-1. But he's got 2 of them. So the reason he's 7 and Derek is a 6 is because they're using his other Fargo rate with more games on it. Where I normally use the one that's his real name, and that's a 606. So on a medium Fargo rate Thursday tournament, these guys will be playing even. Where here, Mike has a spot, Derek one game. Gene Peacock says the coin is popular here too. Yeah, a lot of like it's a gambling thing. I think like I've seen like for example we have Bourbon Street here in Winnipeg. What they have is they have like a string above the lights, and so there's like the 2 chains that hang the light. They'll have a cord going through it, and that cord they'll have like those golf ball practice balls that you get, they're like perforated. They have those, and then you can just slide them left to right, and that's how people keep track of the marks without using the coin. So that's one of the innovative systems. But most of the time, when you go to pool halls, at least here in Canada, anyways, you'll always see the coin system being used. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's a counting system that works for the players, so that's the reason why they stick with it. Roger Dupress, welcome to the stream. And Jay Prakash Singh, welcome to the stream. Carlos Malcolm, Lance Wortham, Jerry Penner, welcome guys. David Wilkes, what's up, bro? Frank Berg, how you doing, man? I haven't seen Frank Berg come out in a while, and when that guy comes out, he's a dangerous player every time. He's got a diamond table at home though, so he knows the bounces. He knows how the table plays. Well, at least he used to have a diamond. I'm not sure if he still does, but. Overcut the 7 ball. We'll turn the table over to Derek, and he'll get a chance to get the first game under his belt. The 15, 14, and 9 ball, no pockets available at the moment, so he's got to get above them to make it happen. Playing safety, smart choice. Throws him up to the 10 ball too. Force him to do a 2-rail kick shot. A lot of traffic in the way for that 2-rail. Joey Onaskanish, welcome to the stream. Gene says on Facebook, the old pool halls have this string with balls to keep tabs on the wind or on the wire. But I haven't seen that in a while. Everyone uses a coin these days. Yeah, it used to be something like that's the ball and the line system that I'm talking about. That's something that's used at Bourbon that's been being used from like the 1990s, if not earlier. So it's an old system. But nowadays, like I said, most of the times when you come in, like everybody knows that diamonds all uses a number, and really like, okay, so we found a way to use diamonds in a way that we're not supposed to use diamonds, which is to keep track of scores. The way you're supposed to use diamonds is to try to figure out angles for cuts and kicks and all that kind of stuff. But pool players, instead of spending the time to learn how to use the diamond system properly, they'll just use it as a coin counter. What's up, Dave? Chris Dutchek, welcome to the stream. You'll hit the 8-ball. That'll be a ball in hand for Derek. Looking for another safety here, perhaps. Just a drawback, potting the 7-ball and drawing back a little bit to make sure he doesn't give him anything on the 8-ball. Oh, I was surprised to give him this much, though. Well, I guess he did. He didn't give him a lot, technically, because that 11-ball is blocking the bottom left corner, which is what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, he left in the bank corner, but he didn't leave him anything. And this is a tough position to be in because you can't really play the 8-ball and play safe here. What you have to do is you have to tie up the 8-ball and tie it up to one of the stripes, or tie up 2 of the stripes and force him into a situation. He's going to try it. Looking to get a bounce off the 10 and off the 11 to go in the pocket. I don't think that's possible from there, but we'll see. Anything is possible if you set your mind to it. But in pool, you can't defy physics. Good try. You can to a point, but in certain situations, you just can't. That was one of them. So he's got a pretty good table laid out now. Just has to work out the table slightly. Taking this 12-ball will open up the 14-ball for him, but he can play the combo on the 14 to the 15, which will make things a bit easier yet. I think that's what he's going to end up doing. Play the shot with some extra pace just in case if the ball ended up following through, which it did. So now he's got to, yeah, I like that he's taking a little second here because he's got to figure out the angle that he wants in 11 to be able to come off the bottom rail, then the right rail to get set up for the 10-ball after that. I thought he would play that soft and set up for the 11-ball. I don't know if he's got it, but it looks like he does. I just thought he was going to go off the top rail and back down there. He played a better angle on it. Sets up a straight shot. Didn't have to play off any rails for the 10-ball. And now all he's got to do is just draw back from the 10-ball. Set it up for the 8-ball. This is another one of our good players here in Manitoba, man. This guy is dangerous. And one of his specialties is banks. Every time I play against him, I do my best never to leave him a bank because he just sees them naturally. He's so good at them. You'll see him do a couple of banks here in this match where he gets out of position and then a bank will save him to get back on position and he'll make it. You'll see. That's his style of play. He's just not afraid to use the skills that he has when he's at the table. Manas Rahesh, welcome to the stream. Moving into rack number 2 now. Derek Glidhill with 1 game lead. I like to keep the momentum going for him. It's early in the game, so a good start always matters. And you would say he's got a great start so far by winning the first game, but it wasn't his break that one. It was his opponent's break. So winning this one here where he just broke, that's getting him off to a good start because now he's got a 2-game lead. His opponent will be breaking by the time he gets to break again. Worst case scenario is he's down by, or he's up by 1. Vince Valdez, how you doing, man? Nicole Delorme, welcome. It looked like he was going to come up a bit short on that 15 ball, but he got perfect weight on it. He can stun draw now to get set up for the 13 ball next. He wants to get to the 13, then he wants to get to the 12, and then from there he wants to come over for the 10. I'm surprised he played that through. I guess he was just looking for the shape on the 12 ball. That's the reason why he played it through. And it's really not that bad. I mean, once he holds position here from the 12, drawing back just a little bit, he'll have the shot on the 13 to the side pocket. So it's not a bad setup, but it's just a surprise because I thought he would go for that 13 and then set up for the ball that he just made. And we got to see what kind of line he's got here. Oh, he's got a line running into the 4 ball, so he's got to either run into it with some confidence or just avoid it. He's just going to avoid it. Derek says 8 ball's good. We're tied on 1. Ahmad Nabil, welcome to the stream. Sugiyanto Yanto, welcome to the stream. I feel like my mic is going in and out. Rack number 3, a smash and break from Mike. He's going to lose the cue ball, though, and that'll turn the table over to Derek. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Looks like we're still at 1-1. I have to inform them about a date. So next weekend I'm going to be going out of town, but I come back on Sunday evening. So if there's a good turnout here on Sunday, and the tournament, let's say there's like 20 plus players, for example, and then I'll be back in time to catch some of the last matches. Excuse me, some of the last matches on the stream. Let's see. We got a question. David Sena says, I watch this on Sundays, but curious about the ratings. What's best and what's worst? All right. So here in Manitoba, I think our highest rated player might be Jason Klatt at a 763. So if you're like 700 plus, you're a really, really good player. The weaker players will be considered like 425 and under, barely. Usually it's about the 400 and under. But 425 and under, that's what you consider like intermediate, novice to intermediate. 500 to 600 and 600 plus, it's okay. So 500 to 600 would basically be like a solid intermediate. 600 to 700 makes you like an advanced almost player, while 700 makes you a master. So you're looking for the higher Fargo rate for the better players. The lower Fargo rate will be the lower level players. 600 Fargo rate is pretty close to the average here in Manitoba for all the players that compete and play in tournaments. I feel like 600 is like the mark for most of them. 2-1. And so you'll know, like when you see a player with like a 600 Fargo playing against a 400 Fargo, you'll have an idea that technically like the 600 is supposed to win, but the 400 has a chance depending on the format. On a Sunday, it's a little bit more straightforward. The Fargo rate doesn't really apply too much. It's very generic. So the way they do it is, if you're a 500 up to 600, you race to 5. If you're a 600 to up to 700, you race to 6. If you're closer to 700, then you're a 7. If you're plus above 700, then you're 7 minus 1, meaning that whatever your opponent is, let's say they're a 5. If you're playing against them, you're a 7 minus 1 and they're a 5. Instead of them going to 5, they go to 4. So that's how the system works. But 300 Fargos race to 3, 400 Fargos race to 4, 500 Fargos race to 5, and it kind of goes like that. I hope I did a good job explaining the system, but I may not have. Carrie Lee Cinnamon, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Scott Swafford, welcome to the stream. Randy Hale, Bill Friesen, and Gail McCarchuk, welcome. Did I lose you guys on YouTube? Is that what happened? Because it's all quiet over there on the chats. Oh no, there's still people here. I thought you guys were all gone. There's no communication. I'm like, what happened to Decky, man? What happened to Decky, bro? Somebody find them. They all left, says Decky. They always leave me, man. They always leave me. I do my best not to neglect the YouTube viewers, and every now and then I'll do it, but I do my best not to. So I apologize if you guys feel neglected every now and then. There was a big wait a little earlier though, and that was because we are waiting for Mike to come back from a smoke break. But that's the only reason. Usually, like if it's not a smoker, we usually just hop right into a match right away. But when it's a smoker, like it's almost guaranteed that the smoker's going to want to go for a smoke. And if you have a toker, which is what you see a lot of here in Canada, then the tokers usually want to go outside and smoke their weed so they get focused for their next match. I don't know if that really works that way though. I feel like when you smoke, your brain is not quite the same. Your focus level might be the best, but your brain is not wired the right way. Just the safety. Playing conservative against Mike, but he knows better, man. If he gives Mike a real chance, Mike will take the lead in the match. So trying to be smart. Yeah, but it's always the smokers, man. I've always thought about making a rule in a tournament like you can't smoke. If you're a smoker, you're not allowed to play. But here in Manitoba, like everybody smokes, man. Everybody. Mike didn't realize that he committed a foul, so Derek's telling him right now, and Mike's like, yeah, okay, if you say so, I'm good. I gotta go back and see what he did, though. I need to know, man. Oh, yeah, nothing hit the rail. I see. And maybe Derek felt a little weird about that one, you know, like because he's like it's a foul, and then Mike's like, "Oh yeah, no, if you say so," and then maybe that's what it was there. No rail, correct? Thank you, Jane. No, it was no rail. I know you were thinking about it when you shot. Yeah. As soon as I seen you guys talking, like I went back to go look, but yeah, just came up short. Alrighty. So we're in rack number 4 now. Mike Vautour with a chance to tie things up. Stripes are his opponent's balls, and they're in a decent position. But Mike's got control of the table. Everything wide open for him here. Had to make a decision on shape, and he wasn't quite sure on what to do, and he's going to be stuck. I don't think he has the 4-ball either. Oh, yeah, he's stuck, man. He's going to make a beautiful kick shot on the 6-ball now. Oh, you'll just get frustrated and give Derek the game. 3-1. A little frustration on that one. Yeah, no, he didn't hit the rail, Matty boy. You're right. Arnie Solberg says, still watching. WPBA is airing too. So navigating back and forth. One day, I'm going to open that door for me to be able to go and work with the WPBA, man. I so want to do that. You know what? I look at the world, and when it comes to pool, and I feel like women just don't get enough recognition for how great of players they are. And so one of my ultimate goals in life is to be able to make a difference in the pool world somehow. I would love to have the opportunity to be able to work with the WPBA and help represent women in a better light. They have something going on there, though. They do streaming, but their streaming, like from what I've seen, doesn't have scoreboards or anything like that. I would love to have that chance. I might send them an email just to talk to them about it. See if I'll open the opportunity. I mean, it'd be great to have an opportunity to work with like Matchroom or Predator because they're like, they play with the pros all the time, so they're more recognized. But to me, I feel like I will make a better difference if I had an opportunity to work with the WPBA. You can't just create those opportunities, though, man. You got to earn them, and I don't know if I earned it yet. I know that a lot of people say I'm pretty good, but I don't know if I'm good enough for them. Alf Johnson's got a comment here. I'm just going to look it up real quick. Arnie Arnie says some totally awesome women players. Oh, I'm telling you, man. Like, and they don't get enough credit, honestly. Like, and then every time, like, I don't know about every time, but most of the times when I'm watching like Matchroom or Predator, and they have like a male versus female player, they always act like the female player is not supposed to win, and that bothers me, man. Because like women players are really good players, and when it comes to pool, it doesn't matter if you're man, woman, or child. Like it's all about technique, skill, and eyesight, really. So I feel like it's the one thing that they should change is how they portray women in pool, and that's what I would like to do. Alf Johnson says, I don't understand some players. They freak out when they miss a shot. Dude, you're not that good of a player. Stop freaking out. Learn to move on. Yeah, and that's how it is. It's just overwhelming, you know. This game drives you nuts, man, because it's about perfection, right? And even though like you're taught to just make balls, the reality is when you become a great player, it's all about perfection. And every time you miss that perfect shot or that perfect shape, it affects you that much, man, because you know that it's supposed to be about that when you're at that level. And that the only reason that your opponent will ever get a turn is because you're giving them that turn, right? I'm not sure what Mike did. It looks like Mike gave him this game too. No, he's shooting it. It's hard to know with Mike sometimes, man, because he gets worked up mentally, right? And I've always said this about him, you know, like he's a really, really good player, man, but his biggest weakness is his mentality. One day when he decides to just get over it and start fighting back at the table instead of letting the emotions take over, you will find out how good of a player he is. And I'm telling you, man, he's a good player. I mean, we see him win all the time. We see him playing and winning all the time. He's a really good player. But his biggest weakness is his mindset. You know, when things don't go right, when everything doesn't work out perfect like he wanted it to in his mind, he'll get frustrated. And sometimes, you know, that's his worst weapon because he always assumes that his opponent's going to finish the table. But they're not always going to finish the table, man. You got to let them shoot. Oh, Arnie Solberg says Jasmine and Kelly Fisher playing for championship. Jasmine Ushan, I don't know if she's ever, I think she's won one event so far. Kelly's always a favorite to win, though, you know. And I watch Kelly play. I've never had a chance to watch Jasmine Ushan play yet in person. I watched her play on TV lots, but I got a chance to watch Kelly Fisher play in the Predator turn. Yeah, he's going to forfeit this match. He's giving him a ball in hand. Yeah, he's just going to throw the match. He's doing it again. All right, so we waited a long time for this match, and I was hoping that it was going to be a good battle, but it looks like Mike's not in the mood. And this is tough for an opponent, you know, if you're like for Derek's position, he's the shooter. His opponent is Mike, the one that's trying to give up. But it's tough for a player like Derek to be able to get focused and finish a match when his opponent doesn't even care no more. It kind of takes the wind out of the match, right? Because you're looking for that fight back. You want to be able to engage in a battle, and when the opponent doesn't engage, it just takes the wind out of you, man. So we'll see how he does on this one. He needs 2 more games to win. Mike's likely going to give him this table after Derek misses. So Derek right now can just like, you know, play a safety and guarantee Mike's going to give him the game. If Mike's frustrated, which I feel like he is. I don't know why either. He's just got one bad positional shot, man. After that, like it was like it's all over now. He can't play good anymore. Weird mentality, man. But to each their own, right? Everybody has their own mentalities at the table. I know myself, like I've been in tough situations before mentally where like the struggle is real and I don't know what to do anymore. But I always try to do my best to reset and just get going on the table, right? And even if I'm playing bad, you know, I'll just play some safeties until I feel good again, and then I'll buy my opportunities. But I never give up, right? So I don't understand the give up mentality, but I understand that the game has a lot of emotions, and not everybody can deal with the emotions the same way. And Derek's doing okay here to get the finish. He almost got hooked. And just needs to get past that 1 and 6 right in between him to get set up for the 8 ball. A touch of left. Lots of tops. Just a touch of left, though, because if you hit it just straight tops, you're running into the 1 ball. You got to put a little bit of left to get him to the left side of the 1. He's going to bounce off 2 rails and get a kick off the 6 ball. Perfect for the 8 ball. And I'm surprised Mike's letting him shoot this. 5-1. Now, and so this is another thing that I have an issue with when it comes to situations like this, is for the Fargo race system, it's like throwing games to drop your Fargo, even though that's not what he's doing. You know, definitely not what he's doing. He's not trying to bring his Fargo rate down. He's got too many games for that. But it doesn't help the Fargo rate system at all, because all the Fargo rate system sees is 5-1 or 6-1 was the final score. They don't see that the other player was not trying at all and giving matches away, and there's no way to compensate for that. But his Fargo rate is up so much that it won't really affect it too much. Even if he was to lose this one, it's not going to really drop his Fargo rate much. Arnie says, Jasmine won it last year. Okay. And I remember her winning it once. I just don't remember when it was. But yeah, I guess it was last year that she won it. Has she won any other events for the WPBA? I mean, she's one of the best players in the world, so she must have. But I haven't really been following her for many years, only for the last, 5 years. Yeah, Mike's going to give him that game. 6-1, the final score. That'll take us to the A-side final now. Let me go back up here. Gotta find the comments here because I was missing some of them. I'll get you one last year. Alf says, good or not, guys like this ruins tourneys. Yeah, I know. I get it, man. It just takes away some of the I don't know, the goodness of the tournament. I know what you're saying, man. And for the viewers, it's kind of hard for them to watch that too, because they don't understand, why isn't he trying? Why is he just giving up? He's a 600. He should be trying, right? I get it. And I guarantee you that, Mike probably goes back and listens to these tapes and he sees it and he thinks whatever, I don't care, because the reality is he's not caring what anybody thinks when he's at the table doing that. He's going through the emotions, doesn't want to deal with anything else, and he's just frustrated. He just wants it to be over with. But instead of going through the process of saying, I quit, he just goes through the process of letting his opponent win, which I think that's the part where people say that maybe it's to throw matches to be able to lower his Fargo rate. He's going to get a big bump in his Fargo rate right away because he's 626 on under one name and 606 under the other. And they're going to merge those two. When they merge those two, he's probably going to be at 615. So, and he's going to have way more games under his belt. It's going to be harder for him to be able to throw his Fargo rate if that was the case and what he was trying to do. But I don't think that's what he was trying to do. I think he's just frustrated. Decky says, young Savannah had a good run. Oh, yeah, she's going to get hers too, man. You just wait, give her 2 more years. In 2 more years, she's going to end up winning it, and maybe sooner. But I say 2 years from now, she's going to win it. And once she wins it, she'll be a favorite to win it almost every time because she's going to know. I mean, young, doesn't know everything yet. She knows a lot about pool, but not at a higher master level yet. And she's going to get there within the next couple of years, man, because she's got a lot of good people around her supporting her and teaching her. 13 years old, says Arnie. Yeah, unbelievable. Decky says, unbelievable player. Alf says, he doesn't respect the players he plays. He thinks he's better than his opponent. I don't think that's it either. I think he respects his opponents too much. Because he feels like I don't even want to play no more, but he makes them shoot to see if they'll finish, right? I don't think he thinks that he's not good enough. I just think he just gets frustrated. I think that's all it is. I don't think he even thinks much about the opponent and how good they are. It's all about maybe if he's playing against guys like Randy, because Randy's overwhelming, you're running every table out, right? But other players, I don't think he feels that way. I could be wrong though. Alan Kunderman, how you doing? Says, hey Rod. Gene says Mike was not a very good sport in that particular match. No, he wasn't. And he'll go live with it. He'll go deal with it. He's gonna go and reset outside and come back and go through the B side. And believe it or not, he does this a lot on the A side. He'll go to the B side, he'll come back, and he usually ends up finding himself in the championship match because the mentality changes when he's on the B side, when he's in survival mode. Very weird mentality, I tell you, but that's something that each player builds up with the experience of the years that they play and how they play each time and what they deal with mentally at the table and how they overcome it, right? It's a build-up, man. Craig Murphy says, that was brutal. This is disrespectful to the game. And that's what Federer Gore said a couple of weeks ago about Mike, too, because he was throwing the games. He said it was disgraceful for the sport. I think, it's something that unfortunately gives us a bad picture in pool, but it's something you can't help. So there's no point in dwelling over it or trying to change it specifically about that one person. The only thing you can do to change it is say, for example, like, okay, well, you're not allowed to play my tournaments anymore because you always throw your matches or whatever. But then that's, to me, in my eyes, it's taking away the love of pool away from someone, which I'll never do. I'll always let them play. But if they got to go through their motions and portray themselves however they portray themselves on the table, that's on them, not on me. I'll be right back. I gotta get us another match. All right, sorry. So I missed a lot of the I was talking to myself the whole time here. Oh my god, I'm brutal. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to explain things. So I read all the comments here. One of the comments that I see is throwing games and attorney should drop their Fargo rate by 100 every game they throw, so they can see what there is. Always got to be one to mess up a great game of pool on a Sunday. I was talking to you guys for like 20 minutes, man. I swear to God, I was like so engaged, so passionate, and I forgot that I muted the mic. So what I was going to get at is I understand the point of view. So I'm going to go back here on Facebook also. So because I got to address all this so everybody has a good understanding of the situation for what it really is versus what we all feel. Okay. Alan Kunderman, to figure out your Fargo rate, it would be based on your active pool league ranking. If you don't have an active pool league ranking, you would start off as a 525. And so from there, it'll get adjusted. The more you play, it would adjust. Craig Marcus says the problem with not dealing with behavior like that is that it might discourage other people that love to play the game from entering your tournament. To me, that is not doing the growth of the game any good. Now, my reply to that is that I don't run the tournament. It's usually Kia and Kevin that run the tournament on Sundays. I just take it over at night. So when it comes to their tournament, I don't have any involvement on how they rate people or anything like that. I make suggestions and that's it. When I run my tournaments, that's a different story. But this happens also in my tournament, so it's something that's going to have to be addressed at some point. One of the things that Linda brought up says maybe don't show his matches on the stream until it gets to the point where there's no choice. Viewers don't watch this awesome stream for that nonsense. And so I agree that that could be a solution, right? Because maybe eventually he's gonna go and think to himself like, well, why haven't I been on the stream for like a month? I don't get it. I used to be on the stream all the time, right? Did I do something wrong? Maybe, I'm thinking maybe that's what he's gonna think. He may not think that at all. He might just be like, whatever, I'm not on the stream. Who cares, right? But that's a good idea. I like that. Kathy Secret says, I like to watch him play. He's pretty good, but sadly sometimes just have to get away from the game for a bit. And I agree on that too. So maybe he's just, been playing too much pool lately. He just needs a little separation from it. Needs to break free from it, just to get a reset. Players do that all the time, right? Just take a break for a couple of weeks, go back in and play. It makes you love the game more, makes you want to practice harder. It makes you want to go out there and play in the tournaments more often. There's a lot of bonuses from taking a break from pool when you're feeling overwhelmed at the table consistently. Now, what I wanted to get to and the point that I wanted to make is that emotions are hard to control in life. I'm not talking pool here, I'm talking about life. Emotions are hard to control in life. And when you're stressed out in life, not everybody has the tools or the mentality to just be able to get over it and face it and just overcome it, right? The reality is that a lot of the people out there in the world, when things don't go right and they feel stressed and overwhelmed, they just buckle, right? They end up crying, they break something, they yell at people, they do whatever, they just lose their cool, man. They can't keep their cool in those moments. It's something that you have to learn to control over time with experience through life experiences, which not everybody goes through all those tough times all the time. So sometimes, it takes longer for some people to learn how to deal with stressful situations versus others. I feel like another thing that we have to consider is that anger, right? So when you're angry, it's tough to control what you do in the moment when you're angry, because you're not acknowledging what you're about to do. You're only acknowledging and embracing the anger that you feel at that moment. Now, and the reason why I explain this the way that I'm explaining it is because I have an example. About 3 Thursdays ago, I was playing in the 10-ball tournament against the same player that's at the table right now, Han Yu. And he beat me 5-1. While I was playing him, I was trying to focus on everything that was going on, running the tournament, doing the stream, plus dealing with a tough opponent that kept getting lucky on me every time that he missed, which was making things more frustrating and more overwhelming for me. Eventually, at some point, before the score became 5-1, I walked over to the stream and I swore. I dropped the F-bomb, right? Which normally, like, if I was in an R-rated stream, I would swear comfortably. But because this is a family-oriented stream, I try my best not to swear. That day, however, I was so overwhelmed, so frustrated, so stressed out. Everything was piling up on me. I broke and I swore. And it's the only thing I did. I swore. So like, oh, you swore. Big deal. Who cares, right? But what I'm getting at is not the fact that I swore, but the fact that I had no control over my actions while I was frustrated and mad. No control whatsoever. There was no time for me to sit there and think about what I was about to do. There was no time for me to sit there and understand what the consequences would be of what I was about to do. There was simply me enraged in the moment, engaged into my angry feeling, and just letting my anger vent somehow. Now, it wasn't the correct way to deal with things, obviously. I didn't feel good about it. I apologized to everyone about it, but it was something that I couldn't undo because I had already swore on the stream. So the point I'm making here is that when we're frustrated and angry and stressed out at the table, and especially in pool, it's a madman game, you tend to feel overwhelmed and stressed out under the gun. And sometimes you'll do erratic things when you're feeling like that. Thus, the situation with Mike. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for him because we're adults and we all live our lives in our own way, making our own decisions as we go along. So I'm not trying to make excuses for him. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make you guys understand that the mind is crazy, and how we deal with the emotions is always uncontrollable when we're frustrated, mad, or stressed out. The more you overcome things in life through life experiences, the more you understand how to overcome stress and anger and frustration. And pool, if you don't have that kind of life where your life is always stressful, you may not have the same ability to reset mentally like I would, right? And I've gone through some rough things in life. So I've gone through some really rough experience in life where screaming and yelling was probably the only thing I should have done. But instead, I just embrace the moment and try to overcome the obstacle and become better and grow from it, which is what you should be doing in pool. A lot of people don't do that, right? A lot of people don't even see anything wrong with them throwing a fit at a pool table because at the moment they were mad and they don't care, right? So just be understanding that in the moment when Mike goes through this, it could be something that he has a hard time dealing with, which is frustration and anger, right? And maybe his actions are not exactly the actions that he wants to take, but they are the actions that he feels are best at the moment because he just wants to get it over with. He doesn't want to feel what he's feeling anymore. You know what I mean? So that could be the reason why he has these moments. And like I said, I'm not trying to justify that what he did was right. What I am trying to justify is that not everybody's perfect and we all go through our issues. And so we have to do our best to understand people for what they go through when they're going through it and not look at it just from our point of view, because our point of view is different than theirs depending on what we went through in life. In this situation, I think Mike will eventually grow, but it'll take some time. And it takes some criticism for him to understand that. And I think one of the things that helps is when you go back to watch the stream to see what you did and how people dealt with what you did and what they said about you. He's been banned from Q Sports Live by somebody, not by me. And so he doesn't have access to any of the streams. So he never gets a chance to go back to watch what people say about him, including Fedor Gorst, who said a couple of weeks ago that this was disgraceful behavior for the sport. He never got a chance to see that or hear that. So for him, like, there's no real need for adjustment because nothing has changed for him, right? There was no insight on what happened. Therefore, there's no need for change. And going through those motions just keeps being normal. So all I'm saying is I just understand that sometimes people got extra things going on mentally, and not all of us can control it. You know, I used to be one of those ruffians, you know, that if you got into my face about something and I was angry, well, guess what? You weren't going to have much of a face after I was done with you, because that's the way I used to be. I used to react, right? And as soon as it made me mad, I would react. And now as I've gone over the years and I've dealt with so many frustrating situations in my life, I understand patience a lot better. And now I don't get mad or overwhelmed. When somebody triggers me, I don't engage anymore for a fight or a battle. It's like, okay, whatever, man. You do you. I'm just going to focus on me, stay positive, right? So like I say, it's a matter of time, experience, and going through things. And I might have gone a little bit too far in this. At least it feels like it, because I already went through this speech about 20 minutes ago. And I had to repeat it again for you guys, just so you guys understood the point of view. But most importantly, I just want you guys to know that I try to see things for the right perspective and not just one-dimensional. Like, oh, you did bad. That's bad. You're wrong. I look at it as okay, he's going through something. You know, he doesn't feel good about this. He's on a TV table. He's losing. People are watching. you know, whatever the case. But what I know is that every time the Mike gets built up and he gets mad, usually has to do when his opponent is running the tables on him and he feels like he has to run the table back and he comes up short or he gets hooked. And then he turns the table over to his opponent. The first time will bother him a little bit. He'll give the opponent the 8-ball. But the second time that happens to him, now it becomes a problem and it builds up from there. And as he keeps playing, every time that something goes wrong, it keeps building up for him. Therefore, it makes it harder for him to stay cool. And I think that's the reason why he just gives up the games, because he's just like, you know what? I just don't want to be on this table no more. I just want to get off it. And instead of just forfeiting, 6-0, he'd rather just watch his opponent play through it so he doesn't look like he's quitting, even though he is. And that's the way I translate everything that happens with Mike when he's at the table. I could be 100% wrong, but that's just the way I look at it from my perspective as a human being that's neutral. Okay, let's keep it going. 3-1. Scoreboard has been updated. It's so important to be a person first and then be the judge and jury after that. You should always be the person first and just try to understand the person for what they're going through. A lot of times, people won't talk to each other for years and they never understood why. I just don't like the way he is. But you never gave him a chance to understand that, right? I don't like her because of this. You never gave her a chance to understand that. So people can't change if you just talk to them about it. Maybe Mike never will. I don't know. But I'm going to talk to him about it. All right, I'm going to give him a chance to redeem himself, to see himself in a different light and understand that this is a situation that has to be corrected. Gene Peacock says, but in his case, he's a seasoned player with a high side Fargo, so he should have his emotions under control. Better than that. Correct. But then that's okay, so every pool player looks for perfection, right? We're always seeking perfection. And when we don't get perfect, every time we don't get perfect, something happens. Either we get distraught from the next shot because we got out of position and this wasn't the shot we wanted to do, so we'll miss. Or, we end up getting into trouble and then we get frustrated and then we end up feeling like we're losing to ourselves. Either way, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in a player's mind where at the table and things aren't going the right way. And high Fargo rate doesn't necessarily mean a lot. I mean, it just means that they play well, but it doesn't translate into mentality, right? You can maybe say that about a 700 player, but I've seen 700 players throw a fit too, right? I've seen 700 players throw a fit at me in my face when I wasn't even doing anything wrong. And all it was is because the other player was just dominating them and they didn't feel like it was a fair match. Little things like that. It happens, right? You just got to understand it for what it is. That's all. And just talk to them about it and hopefully they'll address it. But the idea that I had a little bit earlier, I think it was Kathy that mentioned it, that, maybe it was Linda. I can't remember. One of you ladies mentioned that maybe just try to keep them off the table unless you have to. And that will help, that will help the viewership anyway, for them not to see this kind of stuff happen. It does leave a sour taste in your mouth when you see that kind of stuff happen, that kind of behavior on the table. And especially if you're not one of those people that does it, right? If you're one of those people that never acts like that, you can never understand or condone another person doing that. But just remember, we're all different. And in pool, we all experience emotions differently. Craig Murphy says, then he should have just gave up the match and not let it go on the way it did. Yeah, so I think the reason why he did that was because he didn't want to look like a quitter. Even though he was being a quitter on the table, he didn't want to feel like one by just throwing the match. But at the end, that's what he was doing anyway. It was I don't know. And then some people have the theory that maybe it was because he's trying to adjust his Fargo rate. But for the record, when he throws matches, so far, every time I've always gone with whatever the score was at the table. So if it was 2-1 for the opponent and Mike threw a match, I mark it down as a 2-0 win, and then that's it. They go on to the next round. In this situation today, it was a 6-1, which would help Mike on his Fargo rate to be able to drop it down, especially against a good player like Derek. But instead of getting the 6-1 loss, it was only a 1-0 win for Derek, and that's it. So now Mike's Fargo rate will not get affected by it. So if that's what he was trying to do, I've negated that. So he's not accomplished that no more. And if that is what he's trying to do, he'll be keeping track of his Fargo rate and realize that his Fargo rate is not going down at all, which is going to make him stop doing that, I think. But I think the best way to stop him from doing it is just talk to him about it. And not every player is open to talking about their bad behavior, right? So it could be something that offends them, but it's my job to try to promote and grow the game as best as possible when I'm around. And I believe in fair chances. I believe in talking to people and working things out as best as you can. I'm going to give him that opportunity. Now, if he doesn't see eye to eye to me with me and he gets mad at me and decides to tell me off, well, that's okay. You know, he just won't come around to the tournaments no more. But by me being honest with him and letting him know how it is, I'm giving him a real chance for growth, for change, to become better. And I think that's important because otherwise he's never going to learn, never going to change. Hangar'S saying, how you doing? Andre Nolette, Jane Paul, welcome. Gene Peacock says, you're right, because I've seen it all over the years, good or poor players, but it just doesn't look good on our sport. I understand that. You know, our sport is pretty damaged, though, you know, and it has to be corrected from the highest level, not from the lowest level, because the lowest level doesn't really make much of a difference, right? I mean, in the real pool world, the corporate pool world with the money, where the money talks and the organizations lead, it's the top organizations that have to change pool for the better. You don't see this kind of stuff on TV often, but we have seen this kind of stuff on TV a few times. Okay, Mika Eminem, Jeff DeLuna. That was one of the situations I could think of recently. Billy Thorpe. Who did Billy Thorpe play? It was one of his friends. But Billy Thorpe played one of his friends on a TV table on Mike TV, and they ended up getting into like a physical confrontation. And they were just having drinks, that's all. But that happened, right? So, like, it's going to happen no matter what. And we can try to clean up the picture as much as we can. But in a sport where there's so many thousands of players, it's hard to correct the entire body. It has to start from the top. And then from the top, the people at the bottom have to try to enforce the regulations the same way to be able to create some consistency through all the levels of pool. But we don't ever talk, right? Like, I never get a call from Matchroom. I never get a call from Predator, right? CSI or BCA, they never call me. VNEA, they never call me, right? They never call each other either. To them, all these organizations are all about having pool players play in their organization so they can thrive as an organization. But they're not really interested in changing the structure of the pool game altogether when it comes to like the emotional aspect or the forfeiting aspect or the poor sportsmanship aspect of it. They don't know what to do about it either. And usually what they'll do is they'll ban players, right? So that's something we can do. But to me, like I did this with pool so I can promote the game and help players love the game. When I tell somebody not to come play pool, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the opposite of that. And like I said, it's better just to talk to him and try to see if we can find a fix somehow between him and I, just through a conversation. And if it doesn't fix, then, okay, listen, man, I talked to you about it once. Now I can't talk to you about it no more. So now we got to enforce some rules. And it's not because I don't like you. It's because I don't like your behavior at the table. It can't be condoned. Something like that, right? Then we have a structure. Then the player can't feel offended like, oh, he outed me. Like, no, I didn't out you, man. I give you a fair chance. You outed yourself by not listening, by not trying to change your ways, right? So that, to me, I feel like that's fairness. But just to tell somebody, sorry, you can't play pool no more in my tournaments, I feel that's wrong. That's not what you do to help grow the game. But, you know, I'm not God. I don't see things overall. I don't have a great vision for the future. I just see what I believe is right and wrong. And I felt like banning somebody over their behavior is wrong. Keeping them off the TV table for their behavior is not wrong. That's something that I can meet halfway. So if they never make it to the final, we never have to deal with the problem. And if they make it to the final, well, when they throw their matches, they're throwing the matches for money now. And that's something that most players will not do. So I like that fix. That's the one I'm probably going to go with. Linda says Gene has a good point with the comment of, in his case, he's a seasoned Fargo player with a seasoned player with a high Fargo rate, so he should have his emotions under control. In a perfect world, in a perfect moment, absolutely. But none of us know what's going on in his private life, right? Maybe he's got some sort of issues that happened today or something that happened yesterday, the day before, and he's still feeling it. Then he's coming out to pool for a break from it, but then pool's not going good. So now it accumulates and it makes him react. I'm just saying. Different reasons, man. Anyways, I'm going to move on from that topic. And we're going to go into the match now and start paying attention to these guys because this is an A-side final, man. And, well, it's 4-1 score right now. Derek Ledhull with a chance to get on the hill on this one. Craig Murphy says, Billy Thorpe also suffered consequences. He was dropped from his sponsor after that situation. Correct. Correct. He was. And so that's how they should be addressing it, right? I don't know. It's an ongoing thing, man. Hopefully I just don't deal with it often. Hopefully it's just once in a blue moon. Right now, I have my solution, which is, just try to keep him off the TV table unless it's an important match. And then, like I said, in that situation, likely he's not going to throw the match. And honestly, I don't think he was throwing the match. I think he was just frustrated. They didn't want to play no more. I get into like a preacher state of mind when I start talking about these things. And I try to get away from that because I don't like being like that. But, I kind of do it every now and then on Sundays. So just be warned. Alf Johnson says, get Mike on the mic. Ask him why he does it. You know what? If you ask a player why they do something in the moment, they'll tell you the truth. Anytime after the moment, they won't. They'll always tell you what they feel is best. He's on the hill. A chance to win the tournament now, or not win the tournament, but win the A side on rack number 7, his break. Decky says, I seen Derek moving the coin up the table. Thank you. Appreciate that. 5-1. He's on the hill and he's breaking for the match. Looking really good and strong against Hanyu so far, but he knows he's got a worthy opponent in Hanyu, so he's not going to flex and give him the opportunities to find out how good of a player he is. He's going to try to punish him here every chance he gets, and so far he's done a great job of it. Smash and break in rack number 7. He made a couple of balls, and this is a wide open table. He's looking good to close out the match now. Just has to make a couple of key decisions. Taking the 5 or the 4 will be the first one. I actually like taking the 5, setting up for the 4, but he's going to try to play for the 5 here. Bump into the 9 will shape him up for the 5. All he's got to do is head down table now for the 6 ball. He can try to head down for the 1 also, so it's either 1 or 6 that will work for him here. But if he lands on the 7, that's the best. That's the absolute best case scenario for him. He'll just land on the 1. He did push over the 10 ball away from the 8 ball, which opens up the side pocket now. Did good to avoid running into the 6 ball. He's got the shot on the 7 ball, which he should take, because the drawback angle from the 7 will set him up for the 6. Though he's got to make a decision on whether or not the setup from the 7 to the 6 helps him for the setup to the 8. If it doesn't, he'll end up taking the 6 ball instead and then setting up for the 8 ball with the 7 ball. And that's a gamble you got to take. Looks like he's made the positional shot for the 7 ball. I'll have to settle for the top left corner on this unless he gets off 3 rails for the side pocket. He's just going to draw it off 1 to get to the top left corner, showing some discipline at the table. Six to 1, the final score. Derek Ledhull will win the A side. That's going to take us to the B side, and I got to figure out what's going on the B side. We do have Jeff Clare on the B side still, so we have one of our one of our best players in Manitoba playing in the tournament still. He's on the B side. And now Hanyu's been sent to the B side, so now it looks like Hanyu will eventually have a showdown with Jeff if they're lucky enough to win their matches to meet each other up and eventually in the B side semifinal. Glenn Gamble, how you doing? All right, I'm going to go and update the challenge bracket. I'm going to go and get the next match going if there is one. If there isn't one, then I might take a break and come back with another one. I have my food that's been sitting here for quite some time now, so I would like to eat it also. I'll be right back. Oh, I guess I'll finish the comments first, though. So I'll back up the camera, and I'll go to YouTube and finish off those comments before I walk away so they don't get buried on me. Linda retracted her comment and says, doing good job, being fair and objective about that unfortunate situation, Rod. 2 thumbs to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, like I said, like I'm a person first. I'm a human first. So I always try to look at it from a human perspective. And I've gone through a lot of hardships in my life and difficult times in my life. So I can kind of recognize when somebody's in a moment and they're not thinking properly. I've been a victim of not being mentally right in some situations too, which haven't really costed me anything, luckily, in life, like no friends or anything like that. But there never been proud moments, including the time that I swore on the stream a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's the first time or maybe the second time that I swore on a stream ever in the last 5 years, but I felt it. I didn't feel good about it. So that tells you right there that that's like, you know, the mentality a player should have. If you do something bad or something stupid, you know, you shouldn't feel good about it. Reset and try not to do it again. That's the right mentality. I don't know if Mike has that mentality, but I'm going to talk to him about it later. If not today, I'll talk to him next time I see him here when he's not at the tournament, when it's a different state of mind. And so hopefully he'll have a chance to be able to change his ways if he wants to. If he doesn't want to, that's going to be his problem, not mine. I'll be right back. 6-1 was the final score, and we're going to see what's going on the B side. At the midnight special, shine a light on me. All right, so we don't have any other matches right now. The other match that's going is over there far away. They're not going to switch tables. So that means that I have to stop the stream. We will be back. B-side, I guess we have quarterfinals coming up next. So the only match I have available to play right now, just to be clear that I'm following through on things, the only match I got to play right now is Mike Vautour's match. And I don't want to do that, so we're going to stop the stream instead. I'm going to eat my lunch while I stop the stream, and then I'll come back after Mike's match is done with another matchup for you guys. I laugh about it because I feel like I have to go through it. Don't forget, if you guys are in Manitoba, you guys looking for a good time next weekend for the 22nd and the 23rd. On Saturday, July 22nd, Lake St. Martin First Nation has 3 concerts for you guys, free admission. Bring your own chair. It is Doc Walker, the Roadhammers, and Seaweed Band. They're all going to be there. It's going to be a great time. And if you guys are not into the music and you're more into racing, well, we have Mud Bog and Poker Derby coming up also the same weekend in Lake St. Martin First Nation. $100 entry per class, and the payouts are nice, man. $5,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $1,500 for third, $2,000 for third. There's some really nice payouts there, as you guys can see. Poker Derby as well, $4,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third. It's going to be a great, exciting event. So Saturday, I'll be streaming the event, all ATVs, all Mod Bog quad racing. On Sunday, it'll be the truck open class, and then they have the modded class of trucks. You guys will be able to watch all that stuff on my YouTube channel because I always share everything that I do personally on YouTube. So you guys will be able to watch it on there if you guys want to tune in to watch it. And I don't know about the Doc Walker concert. I don't believe I'm covering it, but I will be there. So I might cover some of it just for you guys to get some entertainment and watch some of these great artists when they're playing their music. Oh, by the way, I got to bring that up again. So if you guys are looking to register for this, those of you that are from Manitoba, if you know Brad Beardy, you can get a hold of him and call him or message him on Facebook. Those of you that don't know him, you can call him at his cell phone, 290-4101, or you can call Jules Beardy at 204-779-6399. Those are the 2 contact numbers if you guys want to register for it. And they do take registrations on the same day at the moment before the races start. So as long as you get there, you can get in. But you can call them ahead of time to make sure that you reserve your name on the spot if you want to. It's a very popular event. Lots of communities come around from all northern Manitoba to compete in it. We have people from across from the West Canada, from Eastern Canada. They all come in to compete in these events. So it'll be really exciting if you're one of those people that like to go out there on quads and have a good time. That's the event that you want to go hit up, man. We'll bring down the YouTube chat because we don't need it anymore. We'll go to our last highlight because we had to see what the last highlight was. It was the bank shot on the 13. Nice and clear. Perfect. From Hanyu. And don't forget, if you guys haven't followed me or subscribed to my YouTube channel, to go check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate the support. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm just over 600, so I'm getting closer and closer. On that note, thank you to everyone that did subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate your support so far. Those of you that haven't, you can find me under Rod Arriagada /CSL Manitoba. All right? And if you want me to come on and cover an event for you, all you got to do is just email me. RodArriagada@cslmanitoba@gmail.com. And it's not just pool. I mean, anything you can possibly think of, I can stream for you. Okay. I do all my graphic work too. So if there's any event that you have and you're thinking, I would love to see something cool with some great graphics, call me. I'll be the guy that'll do it for you. And I promise you, you won't regret it. I'm one of the best out there, man. And maybe I'm not, but in my mind I am because I try my best to be the best all the time. So I feel like I am. But I don't ever walk around acting like I am. I just feel like I am because of the pride that I take in my work, which is what you want. You want somebody that takes pride in their work when you're hiring them for a job, right? The more you sweat in practice, the less you'll bleed in battle, get to those tables to become the champion within. It only happens when you go out there and work on it, though. You can't just wake up and be a champion. You got to wake up and become a champion. And the only way to become a champion is by going out to those tables and working hard on it every day, an hour at a time, 3 hours at a time, whatever your schedule fits. But get out there and work on your game and become the champion within. Because when you do, I'll be waiting for you on the highlight of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream so far. I will be back with another stream, B-side final, B-side semifinal, and championship match, all coming up on the next stream. And I'll have to correct this one because it says championship match and everything else of that. So I'll correct the title on that. My name is Rod Arriagada. If you guys want to add me or follow me on Facebook, you can. If you want to message me, once again, I'll pop it up. Message me at cslmanitoba@gmail.com. Do you have an event that you're maybe advertising that you want people to come out and be a part of, or you want people to tune in and watch? Message me, send me the poster, cslmanitoba@gmail.com. I'll advertise your event for you too. All right. And well, that's going to be it for now. I don't know if I said add me or follow me on Facebook, but you can if you want to. If you are here for the first time on Facebook and you're checking out Q Sports Live on Facebook, make sure you like and follow our Facebook page so you get notified every time we go live. They also have a Q Sports Live Facebook or YouTube channel. If you want to go check them out and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can. I'd appreciate if you do it for mine too, though, right? They have over 8,000 followers or subscribers. I am at 600 and I was at 612. I don't know what I'm at now, but hopefully I'm at 613. We'll see. That's going to be it for now, guys. I will be back with another stream shortly. I just don't know exactly when that's going to be. I'm assuming about 20 minutes, half hour from now. I got to bust a munch. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. Thank you for liking and sharing the stream, and thank you for interacting with me. And sorry about Mike Vautour today. You know, it just happens. I can't control what a player does on the table, but I am going to talk to him about it. And right now we're addressing it as best as we can. So hopefully everybody's satisfied with the way things went out today. And we'll see you guys in a little bit for the second half of the stream, the most crucial matches in the tournament. B-side semifinal, B-side final, and the championship match. I'll see you guys in a bit. Cheers.